Hey everybody, it is the Ant-Man channel and it is Wednesday the 19th of March 2014 and I have a article in front of me from the clashdaily.com, and it doesn't say who it's by, it just says by Clash Daily, but it is from yesterday, probably very late at night. Actually, this is by Matt Daniels. He's a guest contributor on this website, and the title of this article is Three Groups Conservatives Should Target and Why Part 1, Punkers. So, this guy Matt Daniels is saying that if you're a conservative, and if you're a conservative Christian like me, we should target punkers. Well, I don't know where he's going with this, but I could tell you that I smell a lot of liberalism coming from this. So, Thomas Jefferson once said, "Timid men prefer despotism to the tempestus sea of liberty." So what Thomas Jefferson is saying here is that timid men prefer for people to rule over them and for conveniences, but people who love liberty, they know that the sea is always raging. You know what God calls a person that doesn't listen to him and apply his word to his life? You're like the sea being tossed around in the ocean by the winds of life. That's what he compares you to. You're just getting thrown around by life all the time, and you have no foundation. You have no stability. You have no peace. So this is true. Timid men prefer despotism because they prefer to be catered to by conveniences and have entitlements. And look at the youth of today, man. You got kids out there that think that they deserve everything for free, man. I mean, it's like we're living in a really ridiculously stupid age now, and like people are just like, well, if I have to pay $1 to watch something online, this is ridiculous. I ought to go out and riot for this, And it's like, man, you think you deserve everything for free? You think liberty was free? Do you think that we have this great country because people were just dribbling their lips with their finger? No, we fought and we died, and people and I say we because I live in that same spirit that a lot of our patriot founding fathers did. They were living sacrifices for our kids, for our future generations. They knew that if they had to fight tyrants, they were going to make a fun thing out of it, and that they were going to do it cheerfully, and they were going to do it empowered by the Holy Spirit. They were Christians, regardless what they teach you in school these days. I know that they demonize the founding fathers nowadays all the time, and while you guys are saying Illuminati, I think I know something about conspiracies and government, Illuminati. The real people behind all this are laughing at you because you're looking in the wrong direction because you're reading Dan Brown novels. And, really, it's not, look at, all roads lead to Rome and to ancient Egypt, in my opinion. I had a super fascination about ancient Egypt, but I'm not even going to go off into that. I'm just going to read this. At nearly every turn one finds propaganda from the left and leftist media, and virtually no one is safe from the onslaught. Youth, elderly, minorities, and the aimless are berated by the liberal world, constantly reminded that their own opinions are wrong and should immediately be substituted by those of the royal left, permanently. This is particularly true among those groups that conservatives have either shown little interest in or have given up on altogether. Minorities and people under the age of 30 are welcomed into conservative life with open arms, but with exception of a few websites and commentators, this appears to be, at best, a farce, and has become a de facto joke by the liberal learning voices of the left. But it doesn't have to be this way. And by the way, when we say left and right and Democrat and Republican, know that we're talking about the two sides to the same coin. But nowadays there is a Hegelian dialectic as if that Republicans and Democrats are against each other when we're working in the same freaking government. This is how brainwashed people are nowadays, that they don't even know what three branches of government is. They don't know that the Republicans and Democrats are really just supposed to work together and not be like a football team where they're against each other and that one team has to win. It's like a stupid joke of a game to everybody. So, you know what I mean? While the Republicans are a bunch of sissies and sellouts to the Democrats these days, it really just shows you that there are strings being pulled from behind a curtain. And don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. Don't ever look to Rome. Don't ever look to the Catholic Church. Don't ever look to the Pope, because he has nothing to do with this, you guys. Nothing at all. Just keep taking in your daily news and believe everything you hear. There are several groups that provide links in cultural chain that are often overlooked, misunderstood, or frankly poorly targeted by conservatives, and while ultimately it's up to the individual to find their way. The unfortunate truth is that fewer and fewer seem to be doing so as time goes on, so why then should conservatives bother at all? Let's take a look. And by the way, the left doesn't like the right because we believe in God. And then they blame everything the Catholic Church did on Christians. So they say, oh, if Republicans and conservative Christians were running the show, we would be burning people. And it's like, okay, that just shows that you have no knowledge of theology or history. Because you have to know that just because the Catholics call themselves christened or that they're Christians doesn't mean that they're Christians. As a matter of fact, they have an entire agenda with papers, with things that they write about how they do business. They are into They are into deception, my friend. They are into leading you to hell. They get off on this. They like children. They like ugly things that I don't like to talk about. But you guys are like, oh, doesn't matter. No, it does matter. Catholics are not Christians. And I would tell anybody who thinks that they're a Christian just because they're a Catholic that you're not a Christian. Don't call yourself one. You're making us look bad. We're trying to tell everybody Jesus loves them and that they should look at the law of Moses to know if they're right with God so that they can go to heaven by accepting the free gift of Jesus Christ dying on the cross. That's our message. Your message is go to church or we're going to beat you up. That's the Catholic Church, my friend. You better go to church, you better eat the Eucharist, you better pray to statues, or you're not accepted in our group. You know what I mean? And lately I've been trying to calm down on all my fellow Christians, because just because they're not on fire like me, I get critical on a lot of you guys, and I'm sorry. You know what I mean? I know that your convictions are probably not as strong as mine or whatever, but I know that my convictions aren't even as strong as Jesus is. So I'm no one to talk. Punkers and the punk rock movement. Why this group matters. So, by the way, before I go into this, I used to be in this group of people, by the way. And this is a fast living, who gives a damn about anything. This is an indulgent life. This is a life of drinking and doing drugs, my friend. This is a crazy lifestyle. They don't give a damn about humanity. They're not thinking about these things. They're thinking about their temporary lives. What they're doing right now, they're living in the moment. So just by saying that, I'm just going to go on. For more than 30 years, punk rock has held a seat at the court of the music and fashion industries, and never more than today. Back in the late 1990s, bands such as Green Day, The Offspring, and NoFX sold albums and sold out concerts more than ever before, to the tune of millions of newly discovered punkers, most of whom hailed from suburbanite families. By the time the turn of the century arrived, there were more kids in the United States with ties to punk rock than there were without. But what happened was much more than a simple reimagining of a rock and roll genre. Punk rock became more politicized, than ever, and not in a constructive way. President George W. Bush, already under heavy fire simply for existing, became the face of evil, and with him, America, while 20,000 enraged youths filled stadiums and outdoor venues for live shows and spent their hard-earned lawn mowing money on shoddy merchandise. It seemed that these youths found themselves burning effigies of President Bush, chanting along with lyrics overheard from the PA in the distance, "Not my president." The loud voices of the uneducated crafted the opinions of those dying to belong. Disgusting. And by the way, all the stuff that's sold to you by the mainstream media it's all dark, man. Look at the way, because I used to be this type of person, this hardcore punk rock dude. Look at the way we dress. We put skeletons all over ourselves. Our pants are ripped. We look like we've been through hell. And that's the lifestyle that you're being fed by the media, this death, this lifestyle and culture of death. There's nothing good that comes from it. Why they should be targeted by conservatives. The punk rock movement is going nowhere. There are still thousands and thousands of Americans aged 25 and younger that associate with being punk. The irony can be found in the parallel between punk and conservative ideologies: less government, more freedom, family, group pride, etc. And yes, it's funny that I'm reading this because last night I was thinking about this. I was like, it's funny how many people I've been in my life already. I feel like I've lived 3 lifetimes. And to be honest with you, there's a very famous quote by William Shakespeare that says that life is a stage and we are merely the actors, the players, and a man plays many roles in his lifetime. And that is true. You know, I've been a punk rocker, I've been a skateboarder, I've been a lot of different things. And I've succeeded in these things too, and thank God I've lived through them. But, you know what I mean? Those days are very behind me now. I'm a different person now. And ever since I was converted to Christianity, when like a year and a half ago, a little more than that, I'm different now. I've got a head on my shoulders now. I'm looking straight and not looking to the left or right. I'm not looking behind me anymore. I'm going straight and I'm focused, and I want to see good things in my life. I'm hopeful of these things. It's a whole different story, man. I mean, seriously, it really is. I mean, I don't even want to get into my whole testimony because it's really bad. But anyway, essentially, both parties hold a similar battle cry: leave me be and let me live. There is a history in punk rock that explicitly mentions the desire for anarchy, and it would not be much of a stretch to educate punkers on how anarchy and libertarianism are bedmates. But how one serves a greater cause than the other. It all starts with finding a common ground. What conservatives could have is an energetic, dedicated core of the next major voting demographic. While at this time, most of these kids might seem without direction or goals or many of them will end up solid contributors to society, parents and teachers, and even politicians. It's plain to see how this could be a valuable interest group for conservatives to cater to, and all it would take is a firm communication of mutual understanding. As a bonus for the party, the punk rock collective prides itself on an accepting of minority groups, creating an electric fabric of race, of religion, and creed, a potential boost to the party's racial acceptance credibility. So this column will continue next week, part 2, artists and young families. So let me see how much time I have here to illustrate a point here. And it sucks when I always forget what I'm going to say. I lost my thread, but this isn't just the punk rockers, by the way. This is any type of culture that's fed you through the mainstream media isn't good for you, because, you know, for one, I just say that, you know, if you even want to know what this is all about, you just got to go and you got to learn some liberal arts. You got to go and learn some Western heritage and some American heritage, and you need to know the truth, because we're like orphans culturally, because we don't remember Israel, we don't remember Rome, we don't remember the things we learned from these people and philosophers of the past age. As a matter of fact, because of evolution, we call these people cavemen and idiots. But when you look around you, you see the artisticness of people is diminishing. Look at how much people lack art in being artistic nowadays. It's pathetic. No one has this artistic side of them. It's all about looking cool and impressing your friends by acting stupid, and it's all brainwashed, man. I mean, it's just pathetic, man. I mean, where does artisticness come from? It comes from having character. It comes from having a type of standard that you live by, man. And you know, you're not going to have that if you're just going along with whatever comes your way. And you won't know the difference if you don't know standards of ethics and stuff like that. You won't know why this is all bad. So I encourage you to find out if you don't know why. But other than that, God bless you guys and have a good day. You know that all the corruption in the world isn't. What we should do is just love each other and try to guide each other and support each other. Because with all this that's going on, who knows if we could turn it around. I honestly don't think we can. But we should try to save people and get people to know the truth so that they don't live in the darkness and then get led into the slaughterhouse like all the rest of the sheep will. God bless you. Have a good day.